Hi, this is James from the Hornbill Professional Services team, and this is a short tutorial to show you how to configure your own filters in the Service Desk view. So here we're using the Supportworks 760 client, and this is ITSM 345. However, this will appear for all versions of the client and the application. So what I'm going to go through in this tutorial is where you can configure the filters, how these are actually stored out of the box, what are the rules around the actual filters themselves in terms of what tables can you actually query, and how to create these filters. So what we're going to do first of all is log a few calls, and then we're going to filter them. So I'm just going to log 3 calls. So let's open up an incident, let's put in my test customer, test call 1, paste that into the details. I'm just going to choose the profile in this one. There we go. I'm just going to log and accept that one. And then log 2 more. Test customer, test call 2. And that one I'm going to choose the desktop, SLA. And my last one, test call 3. I'm going to choose one of the other ones here with no profile. There we go. So we've got 3 calls there that we wish to filter. The first thing that you need to know is that out of the box there is filters configured. So you can see in this top right hand corner you do have filters available in terms of what calls are active. So a lot of these are only status based. So these are based on whether calls are resolved, on hold, etc. Which ones are my active incidents. So what you need to do is you need to go into the data dictionary in order to configure these. So if we go into administration, then edit current data dictionary, I'm going to expand global parameters, then views, then help desk view. If I go into top, which is again the top view here, and you've got obviously bottom is the bottom view, you configure filters against every entity. So you've got filters for the my incidents, you've got filters for my major incidents, my operational tasks, etc., service requests. So if you want filters, you'll need to create them for each and individual one, or whichever ones you actually need them for. So as you can see here, once I click on incidents view, this is the one that we're going to configure in this tutorial. There is a filter here out of the box. All this is doing is just making sure that it can fetch all open calls, so you can see status is less than 16, therefore open calls, and where it's not deferred, and the call class is incident because obviously you want incidents for my incidents, and where it's not major incident. So you do need to know a little bit of SQL in order to get the information that you do need from here. However, I'm going to give you a few examples anyway. So I'm going to click on OK here. So if you click on the filters folder, so if you've got the incidents view there, under the incidents view you've got filters. If you don't have a filters folder, let's say, so you can see for operational tasks, these don't have any filters. However, what you can do is you can simply click on that, go File, New, Folder, and call it Filters. So if you do have your own custom views, then obviously you can create a new folder in order to get these filters in the top right hand side. So these are all the ones that you've seen there automatically in terms of the active and kind of status based filters. I'm just going to add a few more into there. So if I highlight filters, go to File, New, String Value, give it a name. Obviously this completely depends on what you're trying to filter. So I'm just going to do one by the desktop priority. Sorry, it's an SLA, and also you need to know the actual column names. So the way you need to prepare yourself for this is if you go into the, if I just quickly close that, if you go into the help, and then you got obviously the schema report. So this is the ITSMF schema. If you've got the ITSMF applications, you can simply just take off the ITSMF bit and the underscore in order to get to the ITSM schema. So in here you can go to the open call table. So remember, you can only filter by the open call table. There we go. And you can go through each and every one of the columns here, and also if it helps any further you can obviously just do a select statement in here just to have a look at each one of the columns just to make sure you've got the right data. So if you want to specify it by, let's say for the SLA, you would go at ITSM underscore SLA name just to make sure it's picking up the right information. So we can see here this is the one that we want to do for the SLA. So once you're aware of the columns that you need, let's go back to the data dictionary. It's important to do that before you save the data dictionary because it can have an effect on the view if you've typed in an incorrect filter name. So if I go back to the filters, you've got here the desktop SLA again. So here I want the ITSM underscore SLA name to equal desktop. This will ensure that one call comes back for that particular filter. So once I click on OK, you can see it appear in the list there. So let's add in one more string value. Let's go for a profile. Test profile only. So value in here, let's have a look at the syntax. As far as I'm aware, it's prob code. So the one that I entered was in call reference number 11. So you can see it's TST0. So it's in prob code. So we can do prob code like. So you can do like statements, you can do if statements, you can do all sorts of SQL statements in here. I would stick to like and equals or not equals. So again, if you're doing a like statement, include a percentage sign. So this means the prob code, like the problem code, is our test problem code. There we go. So I'm just going to click on save. Okay, now that's done. I'm going to click on OK. Go to Tools, Refresh Data Dictionary. Go back to the Service Desk view. And from the status drop down here, now we can see our two additional filters that we've created. So remember, we've had 3 calls logged here, one which had a desktop SLA, one that had a test profile, and one which didn't have either. So if I go to the desktop SLA status filter, you'll see that it's only showing the call that we logged against this desktop SLA. If I go to the test profile, it's showing the call which has been logged against that test profile only. So remember, you can also go to no filter, which will bring up every single call. Remember, what you do need to take into account is that in the data dictionary, you are only filtering based on what the top filter is. So let me explain that better. So you can see here that you've got the main filter of all open calls, which is incident and not major incident. So if you think of that is the main query that you're running it against, and these filters are simply additional where clauses. So we're saying all open calls which are incident but not major incident, and the status is 5, and the prob code is test, and the SLA is this. So these are just additional where clauses to make sure that you filter based on the right information. So that's all for creating actual filters and how to configure them. Remember, if you do save these changes in the data dictionary, they'll apply for everybody. So you can't create your own individual ones for per machine or per user, but you might want to have a think about the actual syntax first before you do it, or test it out on a test server first. Otherwise, you don't want a scenario where you've created a filter but then your calls have disappeared. So one thing to bear in mind as well is this is only for the Service Desk view. You've got filters for every other view that you've got available here in terms of the tasks and service requests, etc. There's also filters available for other views such as searching. So if you have any queries, please let me know.